Kathleen Terra of Canmore, Alberta. This is your chance to win big thanks to Save On Foods' $1 Million Touchdown to Win. If the kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you could win groceries for a year. If 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns, you could win $1 million. Good luck, Kathleen. Let's get you to Regina and join Dustin Nielsen and Glenn Suter.
A beautiful September night under the lights in Regina as we get set for a West Division clash at Mosaic Stadium. The Elks find themselves in a must-win situation. A loss tonight will officially eliminate them from postseason contention. The Riders, on the other hand, looking to bounce back after losing the Labor Day Classic and the Banjo Bowl to the Bombers. Should be a good one here.
Yeah, it should be. And I think when we look at both quarterbacks, you wonder who will be motivated more. With Cody Fajardo, a new father this week. Congratulations to Cody and his family. He has a new son, so he's playing with that motivation and perspective. Or Taylor Cornelius, who signed a new contract. 2-year deal for Taylor Cornelius, and it's starters money. Be more motivated from those two. One a business transaction, one a family celebration.
I know who's had more rest this week, so we'll see how that factors in. Chris Jones, 1-6 in his last 7, of course, returning here where he was 27 wins, 27 losses during his time with the Riders as well. And Craig Dickinson, a little bit of a mid-season slump, 2-6 in their last 8. However, he's never lost against Edmonton, 6-0 in his career. In fact, the Riders have won 7 in a row against the Elks, and the Elks will look to change that tonight. Edmonton is 0-9 versus the West so far this season. They do not have a division victory so far, and they will look to get one tonight at just an absolutely beautiful September night here in Regina. Stadium locked and loaded, ready to go, and a big game. Both of these teams actually 2-6 in their last 8. So obviously one of these teams looking to get on track here tonight.
Yeah, and I think there's a little bit more stability in the Elks lineup than throughout most of this season. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders getting some injured players back, some key guys back in the lineup. Mario Alford set to be one of the 2 returners back there.
Gotta watch out for him. No doubt about it, as we are set to go. Friday Night Football on TSN. Edmonton and Saskatchewan. Castillo kicks it away, and we are underway. A short kick as they'll avoid Mario Alford here in the early going. And it'll be taken out of bounds on a short return by Lenius. And a look at the new Papa, Cody Fajardo, back out on the field here tonight.
Yeah, you know he's going to be pretty excited. And you mentioned that he has not lost as a starter in Saskatchewan against Edmonton, and neither has his head coach. So the 2 leaders of this team, coach and quarterback, perfect against the Edmonton Elks.
10 touchdowns in his career versus Edmonton, just 3 interceptions. And for the first time as a dad, he takes a snap for the Riders from the 38. Wants the pass over the middle. That one up for grabs and falls incomplete. Was looking for Justin McKinnon. It's a piece of this Riders starting offense brought to you by Expedia.
Had a good talk with Logan Bandy after coming off the Banjo Bowl where they were hit with the illness. 28 players were hit with that illness. Bandy played but lost 12 pounds in about 24 hours. I know you and I, Dustin, would love that secret, but it was tough on those guys. They didn't have Keon Schaefer-Baker last week. He is back.
Fajardo in trouble, gets it away. He's got a completion, and that'll be enough for a first down, but there's a flag at the end of the play. Looks like a hit maybe on Fajardo. And the first catch of the game goes to McGinnis.
Cody Fajardo just extending the play here and getting outside.
Foul roughing the passer, late hit on the quarterback. Edmonton, number 94. It's a 15-yard penalty, an automatic first down.
That's against Jake Serezna. 3-man pressure. Serezna, one of the guys in chase. That's questionable as far as I'm concerned. He's out of the pocket, doesn't have the protection of the pocket, and Serezna trying to just make a tackle in the open field and doesn't know that the ball's left his hand. Call that one a borderline out of the gate.
Serezna having a great season, just 8 games played, but he's got 6 sacks in those 8 games. After the penalty, Riders marched ahead, now sitting on the Edmonton 45. They'll hand it off to Hickson. he'll get a few yards against this Edmonton Elks starting defense.
Jake Ceresna is the guy we talked to this week, and very good return after missing 6 games on the injured list. They get Niles Morgan back. This is a team on defense that struggled against the run. See if Niles Morgan can remedy that issue for them. And Jeff Richards will start at halfback with Tristan Deku moving out to the corner.
2nd and 7 for Fajardo. Hickson slides back into the right of his quarterback. Fajardo over the middle again, and another completion back to McInnes. And forward progress certainly has enough for a first down as the Riders march here in the first half. A first half in which the Elks have been heavily outscored so far this season, 262 to 113.
Good throw by Cody Fajardo here. Steps in strong. When he moves up in the pocket, he gives his tackles a break because they can run the defensive end past him. Steps in there, and Justin McInnes coming back to the football. Textbook throw and catch.
All 3 targets in this game in the direction of McInnes. Fajardo now 1st and 10 on the Edmonton 33. And they'll get it into the hands of Evans. And he is stopped after a short gain as Cody Fajardo has looked comfortable in his career against his Edmonton squad.
Well, absolutely at 5-0, and you can see he's over 260 yards per game passing, and the touchdown interception ratio exactly where you want it. 2-0 this year. The last time Edmonton beat Saskatchewan, Michael Riley was their starting quarterback in August of 2018.
Fajardo now empty backfield. Steps up in the pocket, takes off on the run. Now fires it ahead. He's got Schaefer Baker for a first down just inside the 20 as Fajardo getting out of the run and making plays.
Well, here you go, Dustin. I mean, the new dad, right? Like, different perspective. You're looking at, first of all, you're so proud of your wife and the, just the work that she had to do. And you have just a different jump in your step. And I see it in Cody Fajardo right now. He's getting out there. He's got a nice jump and hop in his step. And good first drive going here.
Moving well for a guy who might have been sleeping on one of those small benches in the delivery room the last couple nights. Fajardo now, quick feet again, nowhere to go. Eventually will push ahead back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe a little bit more just inside the 20 there.
Pretty good coverage down the field. Let's take a look. This is our all-24 camera. You get to see every single receiver. There's 3 out here to the right side of Cody Fajardo's formation here. Pretty good coverage over the top on that deep corner. And he decides to pull it.
Just shy of getting back to the line of scrimmage. So a sack for Avery Ellis, his 2nd with the Elks, 5th overall on the season. Fajardo steps up, now he's going to take off again, tripped up, sliding ahead, takes it down inside the 15, but will be shy of what they needed for a first down. Tripped up on the play by Coney Ely.
Yeah, Ely with great hustle to come back and trip him up because, I think Fajardo thought he may have already had first down territory. Maybe just sort of, when he makes this cut, he got up a little frustrated thinking, I got the first down now, there's a trip. But he was well short.
Brett Lowther out to get the Riders on the board, just under 87% on the season, and no problem here as he punches it through from 22 yards. And the Riders are on top with a 3-0 lead. Taylor Cornelius, he's got a new 2-year deal in his back pocket. He'll have the ball when we return on Friday Night Football. For the Elks, Taylor Cornelius, who's really been trending in the right direction as of late.
Yeah, it really has. And, a nice 2-year contract extension from the organization to show confidence in him as a starter. I think, it was a Saskatchewan game a few weeks back where he started to combine his ability to run with his strong arm, and I think it's really elevated his game.
A little surprising last week. He had just 1 carry for 11 yards. Ended up in the end zone. Now he'll start here on his own 44 receivers out to the wide side right. They'll hand it off to Brown. Brown looking for the edge. And he gets about 5 yards on that first down carry, a new piece in this Elks starting offense.
I had a good conversation with Mark Cordy, who moved into center a couple of games ago. He said that this offensive line now has been together for 3 straight games. That's saying something for the Edmonton Elks. And then you take a look at the guys that provided the spark. It's been Kevin Brown, who not listed as a starter, but we think he is starting. He just got the ball on the first down. And Danny Vandervoort is in getting the start because Kai Loxley was a last-second scratch just before the game.
Dealing with a shoulder injury. We'll see who handles short yardage situations for Edmonton, because that's Kai Loxley's role. 2nd and 6. They're going to bring some pressure. Cornelius flushed out of the pocket, on the run to his left. Guns one low, and it falls incomplete, and it will be a quick 2 and out for the visitors here at Mosaic.
Boy, it's tough to throw for a right-handed quarterback when you're rolling left. I know there's some that make it look real easy, like Zach Collaros in Winnipeg, and there's others, but Cornelius just couldn't get his hips and shoulders around to put enough on that football.
Mario Alford waits back inside his own 15. Ryan kicks it away. A nice kick. Out. Hammered it. Alford backed up inside his 10 after a 58-yard kick. Wow. And he will be, what a boot by Ryan. He's not messing around in his hometown. There he is, the new dad. A little bit more on the addition to the family for Cody Fajardo when we return here on TSN.
His baby boy in that Grey Cup, and he reiterated that to me yesterday. Also, Fajardo, I want to point out, was not the only rider to have a baby this week. You may notice offensive lineman Taryn Vaughn, he's also absent from this game right now because his girlfriend, Jasmine, gave birth to their son Soren on Tuesday, and they said they were actually texting each other because both their significant others were in labor at the same time, getting some tips. So it was a really exciting time. We want to send our congrats, of course, to both families. And I will say head coach Craig Dickinson was asked if this new Fajardo baby could be his next great Canadian quarterback. And he said, guys, I hope we get one before then.
But he did put him on the neg list.
Yeah, that's right.
Luca's on the neg list for sure.
Just what the rest of the country saying, just what we need. 2 more Riders fans, right? Fajardo has some time. He's going to take a deep shot down the field, and it's broken up by Deron Carter. He was looking for Ed Gainey, and a flag on the play a little bit late as it came out there. Gainey working against Kyron Moore.
It was a little bit late. We'll see what the call is, but boy, Cody Fajardo, the new dad, got
Pass
pounded.
interference. Edmonton number 6. Automatic first down.
Ed Gainey's going to get called for the PI. We'll get to that. Let's take a look at the hit. This is Cody Fajardo. He has to wait for a double move on the outside out there, and then he does. He takes that hit, gets tattooed down to the ground. There's your pass interference. Kyron Moore couldn't get the left hand up to try and catch that. Looks like Chris Jones may challenge this and see if he can change the mind of the command center and the officials.
What do you think about the decision to challenge? Is there a little bit of room there, you think?
Well, yeah, it's always tough once they've seen it.
Yeah.
They've made the call.
Edmonton is challenging the previous play for defensive pass interference.
It's a 40-yard swing.
And it's early in the game too, though.
There's one more look at it. A huge moment early in this ball game. They will review. We'll get you an answer when we return.
Take another look at the Ed Gainey play in super slow motion. Looks like there was an armbar that pulled the flag. We'll see if Chris Jones wins it.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Edmonton, by losing a challenge, has lost a timeout. It's first down.
You know, I don't think when you show it in regular motion, full speed, it's not much. It's almost like hand fighting. But the flag was thrown for interference here, so now there's got to be enough. Yeah, there's got to be enough evidence to overturn it. I mean, you could see that it was almost incidental contact, yet they called it. So it's hard to overturn, I guess, is what the point.
A tight one, no doubt about it. Now Fajardo with some speed. There's a flag on the play as Fajardo takes it up. Almost had enough for a first down, but looks like that flag came out in the vicinity of holding, and this one will be coming back.
Holding. Saskatchewan number 27. 10-yard penalty, remains first down.
For the record, in the future and after rules committee and then into next year, I don't think that should be a pass interference penalty. I think that was by Ed Gainey enough to categorize it as a hand fighting, because he was reaching for the ball as they kind of made contact in fast motion. So
that would have been the thought process that Chris Jones had,
exactly.
Did not get overturned. 1st and 20 now for Fajardo. 2 options to the right, 2 more out to the left. In the pocket, flushed out to the right. Near side, he's got a completion to Evans, who turns and takes it out of bounds just over midfield. So that'll bring up 2nd and quite a distance for the Riders.
Saskatchewan Roughrider receivers really have to be sharp on their scramble drills. It just looks like, whether it's 3 or 4-man pressure, Cody Fajardo feels like he's got that hop in his step. He's going to bounce outside the pocket. When they do that, it's up to the receivers to adjust their routes.
Second and 13 for Fajardo. A big chunk here is what he needs. This 3-man pressure again. He's got McInnes, and that'll be just shy of a first down. 3rd and decision-making territory here for the Riders.
Craig Dickinson is right at the mark, so he's looking right down the line at the ball. They're going to be 2 yards short. He's leaving the offense out there. And this is field goal range for Brett Lowther. Now, the one thing they could be doing is trying to draw Edmonton offside and get the freebie first down.
3rd and just under 2. They'll line up in shotgun for Fajardo. He's going to look down the field. Deep shot to the 10. All the way down to the end zone. Lunging in, and they got it. Touchdown, Shaq Evans. His first of the season. And the Riders strike early.
How about that? How about that call? 3rd and 2. We're not going to go quarterback sneak. We're not going to go with the tailback. Craig Dickinson says we're going to go with the deep ball to Shaq Evans. And Cody Fajardo was looking that way from the get-go. He just dropped back, planted his feet, put it up over the shoulder.
Stop playing.
3rd and 2. They take it to the house.
Father out to make it a 10-point game, just over 10 minutes in. And he does.
Hey, stop playing with me.
Nice start for Shaq Evans and the new daddy, Cody Fajardo, has his first touchdown pass in his last 3 games. Riders in control early. Welcome back to Regina, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. Evans starting to get back up to speed. His first touchdown of the year is good for 42 yards.
Shaq Evans is working one-on-one on Jamie Harry. Harry's in his 3rd start at that corner spot.
Evans, 3 catches already, targeted 3 times, caught them all, 54 yards and a touchdown. Cody Fajardo is 7 of 8 for 97 yards and a touchdown in the first 10 minutes of this home game tonight. Salisbury on the return, and he's got some room, but there's a flag on the field as Salisbury gets around the kicker. He's going to take it down to the 40, all the way to the 20, and they eventually track him down from behind. Great hustle from Jeremy Clark. And we'll be coming back as a big hole opened up there for Salisbury.
Yeah, and see Jeremy Clark's jersey over his shoulder pad. That's probably where the foul happened.
And he still put her into overdrive and got back.
That's right. We'll see what number on the penalty. See right in the middle of your screen, that's borderline push on the back. Looked like he got his side of his hip. It's Toby Antigua. Let's see what number they got.
During the return, illegal block, Edmonton. It's 10-yard penalty. It's first down, Edmonton. The number was 0 on the illegal block.
Okay,
0.
so it was Toby Antigua. We showed
That was at the very beginning of the return.
right in the middle of, right at where the ball was caught.
Well, that certainly doesn't help. Cornelius backs him up inside his own 20. Edmonton starts this drive from the 18. Near side, they'll get in for the hand to Dylan Mitchell, and Mitchell's going to go up the sideline. Should be enough for a first down against this Riders starting defense tonight.
Yeah, AC Leonard is starting, but I made an arbitrary decision to put Charleston Hughes in his 200th game in the starting lineup. So we will see him in the rotation. Derek Moncrief is the cover athletic linebacker that gets the #1 receiver on the opposition every game. Jeremy Clark missed the Banjo Bowl because of that illness, is back in at halfback. 200th game for Charleston Hughes.
Heck of a run. Now they'll hand it off. And a solid push ahead all the way out close to the Edmonton 35 for new running back Kevin Brown starting to settle in here with the Elks.
Yeah, it's really provided a spark. He's Incarnate Word grad that played under the Friday Night Lights in Texas, and reminds me a little of Frankie Hickson.
Hard runner.
Yeah.
Averaging 9.1 yards per carry so far. He's been throwing the ball 10 times, caught it every time. He's been a great addition so far. 3 to the right, 3 to the left. Some pressure coming on Cornelius. And now he's going to take off. He's got a ton of room. Cornelius out to the 50, and now he finds some room on the far side, and he's still going. The big fella is going to rumble down inside the 20 and eventually be taken down. But what a play by Taylor Cornelius, and maybe that's why he got a new 2-year contract extension, 56 yards for number 15.
He can outrun angles with his stride. Look at this. Angle from Mike Adam. And now all of a sudden he's behind him in chase. Angles coming from Henderson on the outside. Can't get there. Taylor Cornelius can run. Against Saskatchewan a few weeks back, that's when he started running. He had 7 for over 80 yards that night. He's off to a good start running the football again tonight.
Wow. Held on to it, too. That's a 6'5", 230-pound quarterback going for over 50 yards and putting his team in business inside the red zone. They'll hand it off to Brown, takes it down close to the 15 and sets up a second and manageable for Cornelius.
Well, you take a look at why he got that 2-year contract extension, and you can see that he's trending in the right direction. Here's his first 4 starts, and you can see the numbers, touchdown to interceptions the wrong way, and he's switched that over. And it's also due to his running. We didn't put the running numbers up there, just his throwing, passing numbers, but the touchdown interception has changed, trending in the right direction. They think they got something in Taylor Cornelius. He got a nice new contract because of it.
Leads the team in rushing yards with about 350. Now, they've been rotating through running backs, but still, he's certainly capable of it. Cornelius now towards the end zone. Oh, and that is broken up. Was looking for Darrell Walker, and Walker took a heavy shot right at the edge of the end zone.
Yeah, Walker's going to run a dig route, which takes him into the danger zone. And what Saskatchewan has done defensively has dropped Larry Dean, the linebacker, deep into coverage. Nice route run on the DB, but he doesn't know Larry Dean's coming from the deep inside half in coverage, and he just times up his hit to separate the ball from Walker. Cornelius thought it was early.
You can't time it any better.
But I think the timing was bang on.
Castillo, 2 for 2 last week, 81.3% on the season from the right hash. A little chip shot, and he will knock it through. And the visitors are on the board.
Well, that's an important answer to the Shaq Evans touchdown. And we haven't had a chance because it moves pretty fast in the Canadian Football League. It goes back and forth. But Shaq Evans, nice route running on Jamie Harry back in that touchdown for him. There's Shaq Evans right here. He's going one-on-one on carry. Watch the route run on the inside move. Steps up. I'm going slant. Nope. Head fake. And now he is in behind Harry, who is in his third start, just learning the game. He gets beat one-on-one, and Cody Fajardo.
Good job.
Cody Fajardo.
Baby Luca! I love you! Put that football in a swaddle and put it to bed for the night, right? Exciting day. Exciting week, obviously, for Cody. He'd love to finish it off with a victory, but it's early. They do lead 10-3. They'll hand it off to Kafer Baker, trying to stretch ahead, and finally the lanky receiver is hauled down just outside the 40 after a short pickup.
That's a great response and a heck of a run by Taylor Cornelius, because early on in this one, with a team that struggled throughout the season, just 3 wins with Edmonton coming in, they don't get any points after that Shaq Evans touchdown, and it starts to snowball in a hurry. But Taylor Cornelius with the big run gets him in field goal range, at least chips away at the lead and slows some of that momentum.
2nd and 7. Looks to his right. Under pressure. Serezna trying to get to him. He gets away. Still going. Eventually trapped down from behind by Avery Ellis. Oh, Fajardo's been bouncing around back there.
Great bull rush by Jake Serezna. We talked to him on Zoom this week and just basically asked him about what he goes to, his go-to moves. He said, I like to set the tackles up or guards up with power first. Big power moves, going straight at him, bull rushing him basically, and then go to finesse as the game goes on.
Third and 6, set to kick it away. Vedvik averaging just over 46 yards per punt so far this year. This is a beauty. Salisbury takes it at his own 12. 54-yard kick and nowhere to go on the return. NFL on TSN continues Sunday with a full slate of early afternoon matches, including NFC South Divisional Showdown between the Bucs and the Saints. Coverage begins at 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific, and keeps on rolling all day, leading into Sunday Night Football on TSN and CTV. Don't miss football's biggest plays with NFL Red Zone available on TSN.ca and, of course, the TSN app.
We are the Football Network.
Just a little bit of football this weekend and every weekend, and especially up to the Grey Cup, and then things obviously slow down.
When you look like that, you can bull rush.
That's the requirement.
That's the requirement.
Look like Serezna and do what you want, essentially. They'll hand it off to Brown, stays on his feet, cuts it inside, and now he's got some room to run. What a drive up the field from Brown, but the ball pops loose. Out of bounds. A discussion on the sideline, and it will remain Edmonton football.
Yeah, that's Edmonton ball because no rider touched it as it went out of bounds. The last one, AC Leonard slopped it out of there, but someone else has to touch it to change possession before it goes out of bounds. But what a run. First balance from Brown, then a couple of nice moves in the open field. There's the strip, but no rider touched it before it went out. That remains Edmonton Elks football.
The Elks already have 112 yards rushing in this football game. 56 for Brown on 4 carries, 56 for Cornelius on that one big play. And certainly when you can establish some sort of game on the ground, it could go a long way for an Edmonton team that is looking for their first win and their 10th try against a divisional opponent. 1st and 10 midfield. Cornelius out to his right. Was looking for Mitchell. And that one will fall incomplete. Mitchell, 256 yards in his last 3 games.
Yeah, 4th start, and they found something in Dylan Mitchell, no question. Oregon product we talked about, but 3 games, over 250 yards receiving. Last week versus Calgary, first 100-yard game in the Canadian Football League. Had 120 on 5 catches, so they found something in Dylan Mitchell for sure.
21 different players have caught a pass for the Elks this year.
Yeah.
Maybe it's led to somebody here in Dylan Mitchell. 2nd and 10, final play of the quarter. Pressure coming from the Riders. Cornelius in trouble again, trying to get away, and now he's going to take off, and the big fella's going to take it over midfield. And boy, he might have just picked up a first down with those long legs once again. And that'll be over 60 yards rushing for Cornelius in the opening quarter of football on a beautiful Friday night at Mosaic in Regina. And it is the Riders on top after 15 minutes. They lead 10-3 over the Elks. Friday night football coming your way from Regina, and it is the Riders on top 10-3. Look at 109 rushing yards for the Edmonton Elks in that first quarter.
Yeah, 60 of them from Taylor Cornelius, who is showing us some great speed. I think right now the defenders for the Saskatchewan Roughriders are having trouble figuring out the angles. I mean, he's such a long strider, but you add the great speed and that long run he had in the first quarter. Taylor Cornelius can run the football. Mike Edom on that last play, he lost his angle trying to run him down, and Edom is a DB. I mean, he's a free safety coming on that blitz on that last play.
I always describe Cornelius as he gallops.
Yeah.
You know, like with those big long legs, that's kind of what it looks like. One for 4 through the air, just 10 yards passing. But Brown at 49 yards, Cornelius 67. And they're off to a tremendous start on the ground. 1st and 10 here from the Rider 45. Toss it out to Brown, looking for some blocks. Picks up a couple and takes it all the way out beside the 35 for a first down.
Let me show you what I mean about that Mike Edom play. We'll go back 2 plays here just before the break. Edom's going to come on a blitz here, and I'll show you where he loses the angle. Taylor Cornelius drops back. Blitz coming off the top. That's 15, Mike Edom. Now, as he takes off here, stop it there. Now, if Edom has got to adjust his angle to here, he's got a chance, but he's not. He comes around the edge, and now he thinks he can catch him just with his speed. And Cornelius, with that long stride, runs away from him. So you're going to have to change your angles defensively if you're Saskatchewan. Or any team playing Taylor Cornelius.
Fresh set of downs at the Rider 35. 3 options out to his right. Well, looks there first. Will throw that way. Has Darrell Walker wide open. Walker's going to take it down inside the 10 and eventually tripped up at the 5 as the Elks marching to start the second quarter. 30 yards for Walker.
Full blitz from Saskatchewan's defense. They're sending the house. They've decided we're going to go with all these guys. We're blitzing every one of them. And look at the protection. Just 5 in there and Kevin Brown, but they hold up. Brown gets Moncrief off the edge. Nice block on the pickup on the blitz. And that allows a one-on-one run with nobody helping for Darrell Walker.
Edmonton knocking on the door now. 64% inside the red zone so far this season. 1st and goal from the 5. Cornelius. Will he keep it? He's going to push towards the end zone, lunging in and gets stopped just short. That big 6'5" frame held up on the way towards the goal line.
You know, coming out there, Taylor Cornelius looked like he was trying to either throw it, but watch, Darrell Walker does not look like he's an intended target. He's blocking all the way on this play. So is Dylan Mitchell. So the receivers weren't available to throw. This was a design run to fake it, get it to Taylor Cornelius and see if he can get the edge. And now the Rider defense is starting to adjust their angles a little bit more to catch him at a junction point.
This is where you would see Kai Loxley if he was available. He's not. He's out tonight. Cornelius, short yardage, 2nd and goal, pushing through. The ball pops out. It's between his legs. And who is on it? Did the Riders knock this loose? Sankey has it. Still no ruling on the field. It looked like as Cornelius pushed ahead, that ball popped out behind him. Let's get another look.
Sankey in that 2nd level goes up over the top. There's the ball on the ground. That ball bounced off the ground and was live. Did Christmas get it? Look at Sankey. I think Craig Dickinson's going to challenge that this was a fumble.
Well, it certainly looked. It was a fumble.
It was a fumble.
Yeah.
It was a fumble. They're
so this
trying to determine
down to,
was it blown dead?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Is that what this comes down to here? I was very surprised to see it not initially called as a fumble. It seemed pretty clear. But this comes back around to not having Kai Loxley.
Yep.
Kai Loxley's been very efficient in this role so far this year. He's got 6 rushing touchdowns.
Well, also the thumper. You know, and I call him thumper because we had a great conversation this week with Derek Moncrief. And Moncrief told us that
Saskatchewan is ruling. Saskatchewan is challenging that Edmonton fumbled the ball and they recovered. The play will be reviewed.
Moncrief told us Darnell Sankey's the thumper. Larry Dean's the leader.
Oh, another big play. Did the Riders defense just get this ball back on their own one? Find out next. Darnell Sankey, he's certain that he had it, and it sure looked like he did, Glenn.
Well, I don't think they blew it dead. There's no way, because this happened automatically. The ball is out right now. So that is clearly a fumble. Now, I'm sure they're trying to determine, was it recovered by Saskatchewan immediately? And eventually Sankey holds the ball with his left hand there. He's got it in his left hand. And there looked like an official discussing it with Sankey, but the ball is clearly out. That's a fumble. The whistle wasn't blown till well after the fact, and it looked like Sankey had the ball, but did they rule that?
It's an extended conversation, not an easy call to make on who had the ball at the time of the whistle being blown, essentially, but
yeah. Here we go.
The reaction here at Mosaic is going to be interesting either way. Let's get the call.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. It's third down. Saskatchewan, by losing its challenge, has lost a timeout.
Yeah, and you know, I think the disappointment in Craig Dickinson's eyes is basically that it was a fumble. What they couldn't rule on was who recovered it, because they blew it dead before Sankey lifted it up and declared that he had it in his hands. They couldn't see right away, and they couldn't see in replay.
Blew it dead when nobody had it, essentially. Right. Here's Cornelius again, pushing through. This time he's in. And Edmonton, with a little bit of help, finishes the job to make it a one-point game. Taylor Cornelius, his 6th rushing touchdown of the season, and after trailing earlier in this game, an opportunity to tie it up.
Well, they've got some balance going in the offense now. They've got some Kevin Brown between the tackles, a couple of nice runs from him, and then Taylor Cornelius off that play action, or RPOs, which is a run-pass option type offense. He can do that as well. He's shown some great speed. So with that balance in the run game, got things going.
Castile knocks it through, and we are deadlocked at 10 with 11:14 remaining in the first half of this game after an 8-play, 92-yard drive that took 4 minutes and 17 seconds for Cornelius to finish off.
You know, the Riders defensively really shouldn't be surprised by Taylor Cornelius running the ball. This was back in August, mid-August, when he really broke out as a runner. I mean, this was kind of his first game. 7 carries, 86 yards, a couple of rushing touchdowns. So they should know about his speed. They've seen this, they've watched this video all week long. But he got out here in this first quarter and took off with a big one. 60 yards rushing on 2 carries in the first quarter, and this long one, or again, a couple of defenders, including Mike Edom, had trouble getting the angle on him.
Now you come out, you fall behind 10-0 on the road in Regina, and Cornelius has handled it well and got his team back in this football game.
By the way, the command center got that challenge correct in my opinion, because you have to see clearly upon replay that the ball was recovered, and they couldn't determine
before the whistle.
Yeah, before the whistle, and they couldn't determine that before the whistle, so they couldn't overturn it. But it was clearly a fumble. It was a big one because it turns into a touchdown and a tie football game.
Castillo set to kick this away. And once again, they will avoid Mario Alford. This time, though, it backfires as a
Legal
flag
kickoff
on
out
the
of
kick.
bounds. Edmonton, number 14. First down on the 50-yard line.
That might mess with Sergio Castillo. That kick also kicks field goals. Let's
Just want to stay away from Alford, though, and that time it certainly didn't work.
two teams that Cody Fajardo has not lost to as a starter. One of them, the Edmonton Elks.
Two teams at the bottom, Winnipeg and Calgary, obviously a big
Kryptonite.
hurdle that you got to go through
Kryptonite.
at some point.
Yeah.
If you're coming out of the West, odds are you got to beat both of them at some point along the way. And now this will be pushed ahead by Hickson. Really nowhere to go, and not a lot of commitment to Hickson so far on the ground in this game. That's just his second carry against an Edmonton team that allows almost 120 yards per game on the ground.
Well, it's true, and you look at Hickson's production. He's almost at 7 yards rushing. So, Stephen McAdoo and the Elks run game definitely engaged in this one. Not so much yet Saskatchewan's.
Empty backfield for Fajardo. 7 of 8 for 97 yards. Tripped up, stumbles, and taken down, and that'll be a sack for Jake Serezna, his 7th of the season, and the 2nd of the game for the Elks.
Yeah, Jake Serezna down here, they'll put him out on the edge. Now he's one-on-one with Andrew Lauderdale. And remember, he went with bull rush. This time he goes with the rip move. Rip weave in that left arm, rips up and through the hands of the offensive tackle. So he moves from bull rush to finesse.
Just a steady diet of 3-man rush pretty much all night for Edmonton so far. Salisbury waits. Bull bobbles it, hauls it back in. Now looks for some room on the near side. Nowhere to go. Wrapped up and taken down after a 44-yard kick. A.J. Allen on the tackle. Fajardo almost got away, but Serezna would not allow it.
For the Edmonton Elks, they're missing their best offensive player on the season, Kenny Lawler. He's missed a couple of games, but a guy who's emerged in his absence has been Dylan Mitchell. I mentioned Mitchell with his last 3 games, over 250 yards, almost 200, 199 in his last 2. And not only that, but he's a deep threat. And that's what Kenny Lawler brought to this offense. He's out for his 3rd straight game. Hopefully he's back soon, but with their playoff hopes on the line here, they need to go deep. He's long on the season in just 3 games, 67 yards, so he can get on top of the coverage.
First year out of Oregon. Early movement here against that line. They're going to look down the field to Mitchell. Cornelius drops it in down to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, and he'll take it home for a touchdown.
Oh, boy.
77 yards, but this one likely coming back, although Cornelius says it's going to count. And
well, he's celebrating, and he was back there talking to the official.
Offside, Saskatchewan, number 6.
Oh, there you go.
Penalties declined. Result of the play is a touchdown.
Well, on cue, Dylan Mitchell, the deep threat with Kenny Lawler out. He just gets after it. Offside was the call by Saskatchewan. I was with you, Dustin. I thought that right tackle for Edmonton.
Andrew Garnett, it looked like he had moved.
He moved a little early, but clearly he was drawn by early movement from the D-line, and Dylan Mitchell just did his thing.
First lead of the game for Edmonton comes in spectacular fashion. Mitchell, 77 yards, and now Castillo out to make it a 7-point game, and he knocks it through, and that is 17 consecutive points for the visitors, and the 2nd career touchdown for that man, Dylan Mitchell.
Well, Nick Marshall was in coverage here for Saskatchewan, and it looked like it might have been a bust in the back end for them, because watch how Nick Marshall looks like he's motioning to someone on the inside of that secondary that
Misconduct foul against Edmonton number 96. This 15-yard penalty will be applied on the kickoff.
Now Marshall decides to go ahead and chase because he doesn't see his teammate over the top. It looked like he was trying to play a zone in the short zone, and Cornelius just took advantage of what was clearly a busted coverage for the Roughriders.
Great timing on that deep threat discussion for Dylan Mitchell, wasn't it? And when we saw Cornelius down the field, that's the first time we really realized that this one wasn't going to be coming back. And all of a sudden, hush has fallen over the crowd here at Mosaic, as many of them stunned watching Edmonton put up 17 straight.
I'm sure there's Rider fans saying, well, wait a minute, who was offside, and was there early movement from the Edmonton offensive line?
Cornelius, 117 yards and a touchdown on his 3 completions. That 77-yard chunk obviously goes a long way, and now the Riders wait to get this ball back, and we'll see if Edmonton continues to avoid Mario Alford, as they have to kick this one after that penalty away from the 15. And this will push Hickson back, takes it just inside his own 25. Frankie Hickson all the way back outside the 40, so decent field position to start this drive for Cody Fajardo.
Go back and take a look at the line of scrimmage again just one more time, because AC Leonard was called offside. That's AC Leonard right there. Now, he doesn't move early on this, but it may be that his right foot is lined up offside, and that was the penalty, because you saw the right tackle here moves. It looked like a little early, but was that foot already offside?
Offside on the kickoff, Edmonton. This is a 5-yard penalty. We'll retry the kickoff.
Again, these crucial calls, and when touchdowns have either been scored or down on the goal line, preventing a score.
That's the only explanation, because you're right, he didn't move.
He didn't move early.
Must have lined up maybe a toe offside, because the first movement we saw anywhere was on that Edmonton offensive line. The Elks are offside on the kickoff, so they're going to go back and do it again and back them up 5 more yards.
Yeah, these are the 2 most penalized teams in the league.
Yeah, the Riders will take just 25 yards right now so far with what they've done, averaging over 11 penalties per game, which is dead last in the league. And the Elks on the other side of it, not that much better. Time for a response now from this Riders offense.
Well, they should get very good field position here. I mean, this ball is being kicked from the Elks' own 10-yard line. And you're right, they need an answer, or else the momentum continues, just like we talked about early. Taylor Cornelius got that 3 points to slow it.
They'll kick it in the direction of Hickson again. This time he takes it on his own 30. Alford to move over to block in front of him. Hickson trying to kick it to the outside. Finds some room, hits midfield, lowers his shoulder and takes it down inside the Edmonton 50. So excellent field position this time around for Cody Fajardo.
Was that just Frankie Hickson trying to remind the coaching staff of Saskatchewan that, he's pretty good. You give him the rock, he's pretty good. So this is where you get your start. As a tailback in the CFL, you come up, you get a chance to play on the teams, maybe get some returns. That's where Hickson started. Jamal Morrow, the starting tailback, started there.
First and 10 for the Riders in Elks territory. Fajardo wants to be throwing again. Now he'll take off, and there's some room. He'll work towards the 40, all the way down the sideline, and force outs around the Edmonton 32.
Play action.
Avery Ellis, who had a crack at him. Both quarterbacks proving how mobile they are tonight. This time they'll get it to Hickson, trying to push ahead up to the 30, a short pickup on first down. Hickson a little slow to get up, but he does bounce back up and will remain in the game.
Jason Moss starting to slowly get Frankie Hickson more involved in this offense.
Hickson averaging 95 yards per game. Over his last 3, just over 7 yards per carry. 2nd and 8. 2 receivers, wide side right for Fajardo. That's where he's going to look. Has a completion. Schaefer Baker wrapped up by McConzo immediately, and no hope of picking up a first down there.
Yeah, first down run with 3-man pressure makes sense, right? Because you've got basic math. You get your 5 offensive linemen up front. You can get good angles on that second level of the 4 linebackers that are behind those 3 defensive linemen. So running the ball on first down certainly for Saskatchewan makes a ton of sense.
Visitors had scored 17 points in a row. While they're out to change that right here on 3rd and 5. They'll kick it from 35, and that one off the upright and falls incomplete. Lothar just misses. And the Riders at home remain down 7 to the 3-win Edmonton Elks. Welcome back to Friday Night Football. A huge vote of confidence in Taylor Cornelius from his organization this week. For more on that, let's send it down to Britt Dorn.
What an exciting week, getting that 2-year contract extension for Cornelius. And the excitement was echoed from his teammates who said they wanted a guy like this to stay in their locker room. They alluded to the fact that he's the type of leader you want on your team, simply for the fact that he's a very trustworthy guy because he puts trust in his offense. They basically said, hey, we're not really worried about having to prove anything to him because he just knows that he can trust us. He also mentioned that, hey, this is an exciting squad to be a part of, and I want to be a part of their future and where they're going to be in the next few seasons. Every single player and coach has described him as a gunslinger when it comes to his quarterback arm. I also want to point out, he mentioned he was a multi-sport athlete in high school. I think we can tell he was a track star based on his run game tonight. And one of his former teammates, Riders linebacker Derek Moncrief, played with him on 2 occasions. Oklahoma State in college. He said, you went from being with a guy that you had nothing really to do with on the field, because I'm on defense, he's on offense, to now being on the Riders here and having everything to do with him, trying to stop him because of his ability to stay in the pocket and extend plays, which we are seeing tonight. Of course, we know Moncrief played with him back with the Elks last season, so you're going to see a challenge for this Riders defense tonight with him for sure.
We've seen it so far, and now the ball pops loose, and it will be scooped up by Forbes Montblow, or that would have been big-time trouble for the Elks.
Yeah, stripped out of there. We had a great conversation with Moncrief about that, his former teammates. It's such a small fraternity, really, the game of football, both sides of the border, where you just never know. You end up being teammates with a guy, and then you're playing against him in a different league, and caught a break there.
Jalen Marshall had that ball knocked away by Robertson. Now Ryan kicked this one end over end. It's going to bounce. Alford with speed, scoops it up, taken down immediately, all the way down the field. A rocket there. Toby Antigua making the play.
Making up for that penalty on the return game for Edmonton. Antigua got that call on the Salisbury return. Brought it all the way back, but this is a great tackle on the teams. Former Rider.
2017 and 18 with Saskatchewan for Antigua. Just under 5 minutes remaining here in the first half. Riders once led this game 10-0. They now trail 17-10. Fajardo throwing again, and that is a completion out to midfield. as he guns it into the hands of Kyron Moore. And for Moore, that's his first catch of the football game. Certainly a guy you want to get involved.
Yeah, first catch, and again, this is a precise throw. The accuracy has to be there. Watch the window that Cody Fajardo is going to fit this one into. 2 linebackers underneath, a DB over the top, and first down, Saskatchewan. Courtesy of Kyron Moore.
Fajardo 9 of 10 for 118 yards. Wants to run it here. There's nowhere to go. The ball pops out.
Yep.
And this time it's scooped up. It's Lenius who saves the day.
Yeah, it's an RPO, run pass option from Cody Fajardo here that this is decisions that the quarterback has to make in this type of offense. It's do I give or do I pull it? So he's got to read the end. Well played off that edge, because the Elks were patient. They didn't get up the field quickly and get Fajardo the edge, and he's upset with his decisions there.
Former U of A Golden Bear Jaden Dahlke knocking that ball loose. Fajardo now 2nd and 17, in trouble again, trying to stay on his feet, but he is taken down for the 2nd time tonight by Avery Ellis. 4th sack of the game for Edmonton.
And former roommate of Jake Serezna, we found out, in that small fraternity when they were in Ottawa together. They roomed in a room again as Elks on the road.
Cody Fajardo has now been sacked 50 times on the season. Twice tonight by that man, Avery Ellis.
Coming up at the half, we have so much to talk about, including the rushing of Taylor Cornelius, but ultimately, we're really jealous of the light show at Mosaic. Hit the lights, Mike. We made our own light show. How's that for techno? Take that, Mosaic.
Yeah. Woo! It probably doesn't compare anything to what we saw here tonight, but it sounds like a fun little game. Vedvik set to kick this away, just inside his own 30. Down 70, lets it fly. Salisbury moves to his left, takes it to the 23, bobbles it! And is this scooped up by Edmonton? Did they dodge another bullet? They did. Salisbury bobbled one a little bit earlier on in the game as well. Managed to hang on to that one.
Yeah, both teams just a little bit of a slip in concentration here. That goes right through the bottom of the breadbasket and out. Tevin Jones had a shot at it, but he recovered it on his own. Had a little talk with the coach. You got it. We're good.
They like his speed.
There's
no denying that.
I love when that happens and the returner looks at his hands like it was his hand's fault.
What's wrong with my mitts right now?
Yeah. Look, what are you guys doing?
1st and 10 on the Edmonton 25 for Cornelius. Gets it to Brown, and here comes another big push. Flag late in the play as he takes it outside the 40. It's a hold, and it will be coming back.
Edmonton number 64. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
I think Brown moves so quickly that the flag looks a little late because he's got such a burst down the field.
Trying to find the penalty here. I think it was inside. Thomas Jack Curtelay on the holding, and he hung on, and a little bit of a, I don't know, Pete Robertson was trying to sell it.
He was almost looking at the official as
he
he
was
was
his hands in the air.
100 yards and penalties for Edmonton already, yet they have the lead. Cornelius this time dumps it off. Another flag flies as it'll be pushed outside the Edmonton 25.
Martez Ivy's got to be careful with how aggressively he was talking to the officials there. He was not happy with the call against him, and still isn't.
He is fired up.
Illegal block, hands to the face. Edmonton number 62. Half the distance to the goal. It remains first down.
Pete Robertson up there. See where the hands get. Yep, right up in the face mask. Not sure what he's upset about, but clearly can't get your hand on the guy's chin.
Back-to-back flags drawn by Pete Robertson. 9 sacks on the season. First and 28 for Cornelius. Gets it to Brown. Brown turns, hangs onto the ball, takes it just outside the 10. Short pickup.
But a decision to be made here if they can't convert. I mean,
just 2 minutes and 21 seconds on the clock here in the second quarter.
And if you throw an incompletion here, you're Taylor Cornelius. Now Chris Jones got a decision to make on. He's going to kick it away. Put his defense out there to try and see if they can convert second and a bunch.
They need 22. Cornelius, far side of the field, will throw it out of bounds and avoid the sack as he is taken down. And with 2:01 on the clock, one way or the other, the Riders are going to get the ball back.
Well, with 2 minutes to go, I would guess that Chris Jones is going to kick it away here. Although John Ryan will be standing, what, probably 5-7 yards in his own end zone, at least 5. And Mario Alford, the only guy back to receive, so they can't kick it away from him now. And he's creating some headlines.
Tying some CFL records along the way. 6 returns in just 23 games. 2 kick return touchdowns and a missed field goal return touchdown this year. Has not returned a punt, just saying. This will bounce at the 50. Alford picks it up, looking for some room on the far side of the field. Tracked down and a horse collar. And that'll march them even further down the field.
Yeah, that's another 15 on a horse collar penalty.
Chris Osakusi, the guilty party. I understand you got to try to slow the guy down, but...
Well, he felt like he might be losing the edge there because Alford has such great speed. I mean, thought he was going to lose the edge, and he's containment. But, again, you don't have to pull the...
Major foul, horse collar tackle against Edmonton on the tackle. 15-yard penalty, first down.
You don't have to pull the ball carrier down to the ground backwards to get the penalty call. You just have to be hanging on to either the jersey or the shoulder pads from behind.
A glorious opportunity here for the Riders against an Edmonton team that's given up 150 points in just the second quarter this year, but they haven't surrendered any so far tonight in this quarter. A ton of time for Fajardo. 4 receivers out to his wide side left. They'll hand it off to Hickson. Hickson's got nowhere to go, wrapped up and taken down. Pelly and McConzo both there to make sure there was no room.
Yeah, this defense playing a lot better tonight than it has throughout the year. Now, again, the personnel changes that have gone on are just like off the charts. I mean, there's been all kinds of changes every single week, but this is where they rank, and that's sort of been improving over 4 weeks. So keep that in mind. They're the only team in the league that has allowed over 30 points a game. And they're at 34, which is an improvement from the last couple of weeks.
Fajardo, 2nd and 11, over the middle, and that one incomplete. Scott Hutter stepped up from his safety position and knocked that ball loose.
I think it was Braden Ledius on that big road, and it was excellent timing. I mean, the timing from Hutter, who leads their team in tackles and defensive plays, makes the hit right at the right time, and the difficulty for that is that as he's being hit, Lenius, the ball is touching his chest, is hitting his chest, and that ricochet is why the ball gets shot out of there.
Lothar from 39, and this time he sneaks it just inside that right upright that stopped him last time, and the Riders now trail by just 4. The rookie universe is expanding. Niecy Nash Bet stars in The Rookie Feds. Set your PVR for the new series Tuesday, September 27th, only on CTV. Well, big for the Riders to get something after being up 10-0 and then surrendering 17 straight. Even that 3 will certainly help.
And Taylor Cornelius has lots of time here for field goal range. I mean, a minute 20 is plenty of time. You get a chunk play, one of those dig routes for about 15-20, and you're a first down away from field goal.
Castillo, his long on the season is 52. Keep that in mind as they start here in the Edmonton 40. Cornelius quickly gets a big chunk almost all the way up to midfield. And only 5 seconds off the clock as he gets it in the hands of Vincent Ford-Montbeau.
This is outstanding. Just technique on rolling to your left and then flipping your hips and shoulder around. Cornelius just snaps those shoulders around. We'll get to the split screen here because they're going to use that clock as best they can.
This time it's batted away. He was looking for Walker. Roland Milligan played it neatly, got his right hand on it and batted it down.
Boy, he has been a find for the Riders. He's in his second year. It was last year they discovered Roland Milligan, but been their best DB, most consistent and best DB all season long.
That's his 7th knockdown of the season, and Walker remains down here.
Yeah, I think he got a dislocated finger. They probably had to put it back in place.
Now that sounds disgusting.
yeah, it's not fun. I've been there. It's not a big deal. I mean, you just get it back in place, get a little tape, you tape it to the next finger, next one over. It looked like that's what it was, because he went down awkward. Looked like the ball hit him, because I think it was his pinky finger that was pointing in a direction that pinky fingers shouldn't be pointing.
Ouch. 2nd and 10 for Cornelius, right at midfield here. Near side, and he drops it in there. And that's the first catch with the Elks for Noel.
Levi Noel on that deep out. That's a little bit of what Brett talked about earlier on in the game about the gunslinger. The gunslinger in Taylor Cornelius, because he almost sort of side on him there. And that's a long throw in the CFL, even with the hash marks in tighter. That's a long throw to get it out to that outside. Gunslingers can get it done.
3rd and a yard, maybe a little bit less. Cornelius, clock ticks down inside 60 seconds, lunging ahead as he held on to the ball. Looks like enough.
Thumper hit it again. 10 tackles for Darnell Sankey last week in the Banjo Bowl when half the team was ill with a stomach flu. I think Sankey went over the top again. Cornelius gets it, and he secures the football this time, a 53 Thumper. Look at him line up, time it up. It's out of Big Hill territory right there. We've seen that from Biggie many times.
Cornelius wiser to kind of turn his back that time. You're not getting this one.
Where's 53? I'm going to turn away from 53.
Fresh set of downs. 48 seconds to work for Cornelius. Dumps it off to Brown. Nice little play. Now Brown's got some room. He'll take it down towards the 30. Sidesteps his way down to the 25. And that is what Kevin Brown has brought to this offense in Edmonton.
Like he may be limping a little on that left leg, which would be disappointing because, man, this guy is a get up out of your seat guy. A little pitch out. He makes something happen every time he touches the football. I think Matty talked about it in the pregame before we started about Kevin Brown and Frankie Hickson and the two of them and how exciting they really are. They're both really new to the league, but number 4 makes something happen when he gets it.
87 yards of total offense in this first half from Brown, who we chatted with earlier in the week, and he just would not stop smiling. And guys don't smile when they talk to us. He was smiling because he's very excited to be a member of the Edmonton Elks, having a chance to play professional football up here in Canada, and he's fit in very nicely so far. I'd like to welcome everybody joining us on TSN 5.
and came back before the 3 plays were up. Therefore, his legal substitution against Edmonton. This is a 10-yard penalty. It remains first down.
Wow.
Well, that changes things, doesn't it?
Well, it makes it a very tough field goal attempt from this point. Wouldn't have been after the Kevin Brown. It was that chip shot territory at worst, with time to maybe go to the end zone once. But you got to sit out 3 plays when you go down injured. If the training staff comes out onto the field to get you, you have to sit out mandatory 3 plays.
I mean, why would you not know that? That doesn't make any sense, right? How do you get back into the... Everybody should know that.
Well, Darrell Walker had the finger issue, and he didn't think about it. He went back, put his helmet on. He got a tape to the other one.
Yeah, and
then he went right back onto the field. But
well, took away a huge play. Chris Jones.
Well, now they're out of field goal.
Little frustrated. Yeah, this backs him all the way up now. Now it's a 1st and 20. The ball was down at the 30 after a nice play by Brown. Backs it all the way up to midfield here with 36 seconds on the clock, and in a 1st and 20 situation. Crowd at Mosaic trying to get in the head of Cornelius. 3 receivers to his wide side right. Has some time. Dumps it off to Marshall. And Marshall will get close to that 50 before forced back. And that'll bring up 2nd and forever here for Edmonton as the clock now inside 30 seconds.
I asked Derek Moncrief, the guy who made that tackle. Derek Moncrief was asked him about covering Brian Burnham and covering Kenny Lawler, and covering all the #1 receiver on the other team. He said, I go to the coach staff and say, bring it on. Let me take out their best receiver. He loves it.
Cornelius hoping for field goal range. And now he's going to take off on his own, and he'll slide just inside the 45. And that will at least give them an opportunity to tack on a few more. A little slow to get up with 16 on the clock.
Take a look at this hit. It was definitely a hook slide. A.C. Leonard had started to dive as he was sliding. Timing was interesting, but I'm wondering about the head. Yeah, that's why Taylor Cornelius got up a little slow. He down awkwardly there.
Cornelius sits at 155 yards and a touchdown through the air. 7 carries for 81 yards and a touchdown on the ground.
John Ryan will count him up and do the holding.
Castillo hit from 52 earlier in the season. This will be from 51 on the left hash. It is up. It has the leg, and it's off the upright again. A double doink tonight here at Mosaic. Lothar had one, and now Castillo does it again.
One each. But remember back, I think it was first quarter, when Sergio Castillo really shanked a kickoff. And, you know, I wondered then, that kind of messes with the kicker when they don't hit it right. And they start thinking too much is what happens. Get inside their head.
Castillo misses. Elks on top, 17-13 at halftime. Let's send it back to Kate and the panel in the studio. Welcome back to Mosaic Stadium in Regina, where the Riders trail the Elks 17-13. Shaq Evans was with our Britt Dork.
Shaq, well, we know you guys came out strong. However, you let it slide a little bit there. What was the mood in the locker room at the half?
We know we're still in the game, so we're not down. We know we got to keep fighting. They're fighting for their lives. We are too. So at the end of the day, we're going to keep playing football and just see what the results are.
Well, we did see you get a touchdown your first one of the season in that first half. How did it feel to get that monkey off your back?
Yeah, it felt real good. You know, after last week of dropping that one against Winnipeg, I knew I had to redeem myself. So whole time the ball's in the air, I was just like, I can't do what I did last week, and just made the play. So I'm just happy for not only myself and my team, and we've got to keep it going second half.
So, well, thanks so much.
Thank you.
In the first half, 54 yards and a touchdown for Evans on 3 catches. Cody Fajardo, 9 of 11 for 118 and a touchdown. 4 carries for 28 yards as well. Cornelius, 155 yards passing and a touchdown. Also 7 carries for 80 yards, 56 coming on 1 scamper, has a touchdown there. And Kevin Brown involved as well. He's averaging more than 10 yards per carry so far. As we get set to kick things off, Edmonton Elks need a win to keep their slim playoff hopes alive. And they lead 17-13 at halftime. Salisbury breaks a couple of tackles, cuts it back, and eventually is wrapped up by A.J. Allen and takes him down. There's a look at Taylor Cornelius. Pretty good first half.
Yeah, it was. He threw the ball well, but I think it was his running that really broke the game open and got the Elks back into it with those 17 unanswered points. This was his first run. Had 60 yards in the first quarter, ended up with, as you mentioned, 7 carries for 80 yards in the touchdown. Touchdown on a 1-yard sneak, not that one. Here it is, and a real good balanced first half.
The Elks are 0-2 when leading at halftime. They are 3-4 on the road so far this season. And they'll give it to Brown, who had a nice initial burst, but then was contained rather quickly after a pickup of about 5 yards.
Yeah, you got to imagine that both these teams went in the locker room and said a couple things. One was, okay, no more penalties, especially from Edmonton's point of view. They had too many in the first half, took some big plays off the board, and probably some points off the board. So that was first. Kevin Brown's a little nicked up, was at the end of that first half. He's going to have to take a break here on second down. But the other thing that they've got to talk about, both these teams at halftime, I'm sure, was the stopping the run, being better against the run. The Elks played pretty good, but Hickson didn't get involved till late in that first half.
Yeah, and really not much at all. He had 4 carries for 6 yards, and that's it in the first half. And we mentioned it, it's against the Edmonton team that surrenders a lot of yards on the ground. This is Jeremy Clark, who was down on a knee at the end of that play. He's up under his own power heading off, and there's Brown. He's going to be looked at right now as well, and boy, he's been a bright spot in this lineup. He might just have a bleeding nose getting 10-2 on the sidelines. Reset it here, 2nd and 5 now for Cornelius. Working on his own 40. Riders 3-4 at home so far this season, looking to get back to 500. Cornelius near side, Litre's got it, and he's taken down immediately. That's Milligan, just an excellent tackle to keep Litre short of a Edmonton first down.
Yeah, actually, took a look at Milanovic Litre. He's a guy who started a few of these games before the signing and Kevin Brown joining the team and becoming sort of that bright spot you talked about. But that was an outstanding tackle in the open field once again by Roland Milligan.
John Ryan set to kick this away. Lets it go just inside his own 35, end over end. Takes a hop inside the 30. Alford takes it just inside the 20, and he'll head to the far side of the field. 44-yard kick, short return. Forced out on the far side of the field as Cody Fajardo gets the ball for the first time here in the third quarter.
Talked about it off the top. He's a new dad. Baby Luca born this week, so he had some jump in his step early on. A couple of really good drives in the first quarter. I thought he threw some good, the ball very well from both the pocket and on the run. And then it started to stall a little bit against the 3-man pressure that Edmonton was running. This was the early touchdown to Shaq Evans that Britt talked about on the sideline with Shaq.
Edmonton once again just sending 3 men on the rush. They'll get it out to Hickson on the near side, puts on the brakes, cuts it back up. Ooh, another nice move. And he eventually stopped just shy of the 40, but looked like he had enough for a first down.
So I sort of gave William Stanback, before he was injured, I gave out in Montreal, like he was a hammer. Like he ran the ball, and I just call it like the sledgehammer. I think this kid in Frankie Hickson he's more like the rock hammer. You know, like a rock hammer has that, the one side you're just pounding it. The other side is the thin edge, where you're making it miss and chipping away and pulling out the rocks. That's Hickson. He can beat you in a lot of ways.
I've never chipped at a rock ever in my life. As you described his hammer, I'm like, what's the rock hammer they started?
The rock hammer.
Yeah.
The rock hammer
You
has
turn it
the
around
thin
a
edge,
little,
you
yeah.
turn it around, and now you're making it miss, and you're chipping rocks away, and you're climbing with it, things like that. And then he can pound it too now. That's what I mean. So you turn the hammer around, and now you're just pounding that line of scrimmage. But we've seen a little bit of the finesse, a little bit of the chipping away. He's a little banged up after that tackle.
They gave him 5 yards on that play. Riders working from their own 44. Fajardo has a completion. And that'll be just short of what they needed as they get Schaefer Baker involved once again.
See how short they are, because
the offense will stay out on the field here.
this fly sweep we've seen many times. Our receiver will line up on one side of the formation, swing around and push the flat.
Tackle made by Matthew Thomas.
Should say fly sweep motion, and then shooting out into the flat.
Looks like third and little more than a yard. Almost 2. Fajardo. Saw them take a shot deep. A little bit further up the field at that point. They're going to turn around and hand it off. And
No,
it's
sir.
knocked down just
No,
like
sir.
that. What a tackle. Konar busts through and contains Frankie Hickson. And a turnover on downs on the Riders' side of the field. Look out. Konar comes in. Takes down Frankie Hickson. Huge momentum swing for Edmonton. Cornelius turns, looks, and throws this one away with pressure in his face, on his back, I should say. When Cornelius throws it away, he really throws it away. Eh? Those are no doubters. That one was almost into the first row.
Yep, good decision.
That's what he's cut down on, the interceptions, right? He's fumbled the ball a few times for sure. But the interceptions is what he's done a pretty solid job on, especially as of late. Second and 10. Friday night football at Mosaic in Regina. Cornelius steps up. Finds Darrell Walker. Walker's going to take it all the way down inside the 20, stays on his feet. Down to the 10, Darrell Walker puts on the brakes, tries to cut it back. And what an effort after the catch from Darrell Walker. And just like that, the Elks are in business.
Yeah, and the early running from Taylor Cornelius pays off here, because when he steps up like he's going to run up into the middle of this pocket, it freezes the Saskatchewan defenders. They come up to tackle him, and they leave Darrell Walker wide open behind. It put Darnell Sankey in a rock and a hard place. He was wrong either way. If he stays back, Taylor Cornelius runs. If he goes up to try to make the tackle on Cornelius, he throws it to Darrell Walker, who does some heavy lifting after that.
41 yards on that play for Walker. He's got 71 on 2 catches after a 100-yard effort last week. First and goal from the Riders, 6 for Cornelius. He'll give it to Brown. Brown turns, puts his shoulder down. He stops. Sankey is there to hammer him to the turf. And they'll have to try it again.
Take a look at Sankey in his office. Darnell Sankey, 79 defensive tackles coming in. Slides off that one into that. He was in the B gap. Slides right to, that's scrape. That's a linebacker scrape. That's his 4th tackle of the night. 1 caused fumble that they lost the challenge on.
Empty backfield this time for Cornelius. 4 receivers out to his left. He wants to take it right up the middle. Riders are all over it, and they're going to deny him. Couldn't even get back up to the 5. And Miles Brown, who just checked in right before the play, clogging up the middle of the field there.
Yeah, you could tell that the Riders now talk about control rush. When Taylor Cornelius did what he did with his legs in the first half, it's a much more controlled rush now from that front 4 of Saskatchewan, making sure they don't get too far upfield too quickly and leave some run lanes for number 15.
13-yard kick for Castillo. And he knocks that through, and Edmonton's lead back up to 7. Riders defense, though, holding them to a field goal. Brown with the tackle to contain Cornelius. Friday night football from Mosaic in Regina. Just an absolutely picture-perfect night. And all you trivia nerds, pay attention here. Here we go. Who had the first INT return TD in Friday night football history?
I like this one. I like this question.
This is not easy. Fajardo avoids some heat. And now he's going to take off looking for the first down, and he's got it. Number 7, making things work with those quick feet.
And the quick bail. Like, he does this as well as anybody in the league, where he will blind turn and just sort of bail out of the pocket with a reverse turn. The way a defensive end or linebacker on a blitz can stop that is to go to his upfield shoulder.
Fresh set of downs at the 51.
Whoa. Whoa.
Try it again.
Reset.
Lanius gets back in there. Pressure coming for Jarno, in trouble. And he will be taken down. Pressure in his face immediately by Macanzo.
You think maybe that Braden Lenius here had a deep route and maybe was the primary target, because he looked excited to hit that line of scrimmage full blast. And it didn't work out at all. Unblocked off the edge.
Second sack of the season for Macanzo, who's really settled into his own here. 5 times Fajardo has been sacked so far tonight. Cornelius just won. 2nd and 15 for Cody. Tried to dump it off to Hickson. Came right back to Fajardo, and he's taken down again. Matthew Thomas there that time. Serezna able to knock it back that way.
Chris Jones isn't doing anything really exotic on defense. He's really not. I mean, this is 3-man pressure again.
All night.
You know, a fourth sort of added in late in Matthew Thomas, but you know, I'm not seeing any real exotic blitzes, no blitzes from the secondary really. But that Saskatchewan O-line is struggling in the protection department.
Vedvik, with just over 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter, his team trailing 20-13 at home, gets it away just in time, but he's taken down. Antigua got him. Antigua's going to plead his case immediately, and Salisbury on the return will eventually be wrapped up at the 25 after a short return. Antigua not happy.
Well, he's saying he was pushed into Vedvik.
Looked like he was engaged at the time, just before sliding into the kicker.
Foul, roughing the kicker. Edmonton number 0. It's 15-yard penalty, an automatic first down.
And Chris Jones said to him, it doesn't matter. You can't hit the kicker with his leg in the air. He's off the right side, and he really doesn't get pushed into him. He tries to go around the personal protector here, but no, that's no question a penalty.
And a breath of fresh air now for Fajardo. All the way up to the Edmonton 53. They'll give it to Hickson. And once again, contained by this Edmonton defense. Ely with the tackle, wrapped him up around the legs.
This is the best they've played defensively against the run all season. I mean, this
is not even close.
Yeah, it's not close. This is their best game. They're coming into tonight at about 118 yards a game along the ground. But they got Niles Morgan back in the middle. He was out.
Macanzo continues to develop as well.
Exactly. Getting more out of Ely in the interior of that D-line. Serezna's playing great over the last couple of weeks.
2nd and 8 after a pickup of just 2. Fajardo once again turning, oh, he's in trouble, and they're going to get there again and take him down. Christian Rector gets home, and it's a sack party for the Edmonton defense tonight. Boos from the crowd here at Mosaic as Cody Fajardo is sacked for the 6th time tonight.
Yeah, not a lot of playing time for Rector, but he gets in there again, just straight four-man pressure, and they actually left Justin McInnes in to help out with the protection. He bailed and got out of that pocket early to try and be an outlet pass, but again, the pocket collapses on him.
3rd and 22, forced to kick it away. No contact on the kicker this time, a towering boot. Salisbury takes it neatly just inside his own 25. Found a little hole and a flag on the play as he gets almost all the way back up to the 35-yard line. Edmonton's defense has simply come to play at Mosaic tonight. This time, Christian Rector with his 2nd sack of the season. Charleston Hughes now 5th all-time with 136 career sacks, not too shabby.
Playing in his 200th game in the Canadian Football League, one of the best all-time when it comes to getting after quarterbacks. He's got James Parker in his sights. Just a matter of whether or not he runs out of time in the season. In the first quarter, he got 8 reps out of 15. In the 2nd quarter, didn't really see the field, so 3rd quarter he's getting back into the rotation. See if he can get one.
4 sacks on the season for Hughes. They'll hand it off. Decent push ahead on 1st down here from Brown, and he's got enough to pick up another fresh set of downs.
And Charleston Hughes just past Joe Montfort, but just to remind you about one of the best all-time was Quick Parker, former Edmonton Eskimo at the time and BC Lion. James Quick Parker, 139.5 sacks over 11 seasons, and there was about 4 years there. Is that John Huffnagel? I think it is John Huffnagel going down with Quick Parker getting after him. There he is as a BC Lion. Really just defined that stand-up, rush-in position. Charleston Hughes, one of the greats. Is this his last year?
Edmonton working from the 26. Brown pushing hard, but just a short pickup on 1st down with just over 2 minutes remaining in the 3rd.
In the rotation, 39 was out there in that short side defensive end. And now he's got to come out. He's got to pass him down. This is the one he wanted. You can see the disappointment because he got 2nd and 10 here. Cornelius got to throw the football, and he's got to come out. So, I mean, you're putting in A.C. Leonard or Pete Robertson. You're okay there if you're Saskatchewan and Jason Shivers in this rotation. Passing down, it's a big one.
Second and 10 for Cornelius. Has some time, goes over the middle, and it's incomplete to Jarrell Walker. Looked like Walker might have held up for just a second and couldn't recover to get to that ball in time.
It was a heater. I mean, you know, he's made this catch a ton. In fact, we're seeing a little bit of the old Darrell Walker. You know, and yeah, he dropped this one, but that was a fastball. And, you know, like coming off his 100-yard game, first 100-yarder of the season. That's the Darrell Walker that we're used to. I want to say Darrell Carter. He's playing defense now.
Oh, and this is blocked. Ryan tried to get it away, but the Riders' special teams have come up. A.J. Allen getting through and disrupting things. And the Riders have life.
To block this punt attempt. I mean, they had loaded up each side of the formation to make it look like that middle lane was going to stay open. But A.J. Allen fooled him and went right down Main Street.
So a pass that Walker wanted back leads to a punt, which gets blocked. And now the Riders will work from the Edmonton 26. Fajardo out into the flat to Schaefer Baker. Schaefer Baker stays on his feet momentarily, and the rest of the troops arrive and take him down as he was working against Jeff Richards. Held him up just long enough.
And I think the key to the run stopping and, you know, those little like extended runs like that little fly wide receiver screen pass there to Schaefer Baker is great tackling by the Elks tonight. First guy is not letting them get away.
Flags everywhere.
Procedure. Saskatchewan number 62. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Andrew Lauderdale with Serezna in his face moving early.
And a nice job by the officials calling that real quickly. Love that. Like to see that. Saw the offside, saw the procedure. Let's go. Call it. Reload. Well done.
See, sometimes you can praise officials, right? Right? Broadcasters in general, it seems like we only ever say mean things.
Yeah, I give them props when it's good.
Yeah, and I'll say sometimes they do deserve the heat. It's a part of the game. 2nd and 15 for Fajardo. To the left, to the right. Steps up in the pocket, looks towards the end zone for Shaq Evans, and it's incomplete. This time Gady was there. No flags on the play, and he knocks it away.
Yeah, he's a veteran. I mean, he knows not to panic. He's got Shaq Evans. He turns his shoulders. Now he's just waiting for the ball to arrive. Make sure he doesn't interfere. That's just a great defensive play, and goes up to make sure that Shaq Evans can't elevate above him.
Lawther from 38, right hash. That one is up, and he misses it to the left. 2 misses tonight for Lawther. And he looks to the skies in disappointment. And we will head to the 4th quarter at Mosaic with Edmonton on top, 20-14, needing a win to keep their playoff hopes alive. Can they finish it on the road against the Riders? Fantastic Friday Night Football finish on the way. In the books at Mosaic in Regina, it's the Riders trailing 2014 against Edmonton, trying to pick up a win for the first time this season against the West.
Best game of the year for the Edmonton Elks on defense, certainly. I mean, we've seen a little bit of offense in that first quarter. The defenses are taking over in the second half. You know, when you look at the last 8 games between these two teams, every single one of them have been decided in the final 3 minutes. Brett Lawther has got to let those 2 go. The one he hit the post, but we can take a look at his plant foot and we can see what the issue is, because when he steps into there, the plant foot's got to go right between the uprights. So stop it there. You see the angle of his plant foot is that way. If it's that way, he's got a chance. But that angle's so far to the left, and guess what? That's exactly where the ball is pulled. All about that plant foot, just like being on the first tee. Get your feet right first.
Is that the key? How come nobody told me this? I've been horrible at golf for 30 years. Here's Brown. He'll take it out to midfield, and a nice pickup on the ground again. And Edmonton fans are excited about what they're seeing from Kevin Brown.
Yeah, so am I. So am I. Love great athletes in the league. World-class football players getting after it. He's got a little bit of all that game in him too, and that's just great mutual respect. Good tackle by Milligan. He tapped him on the head saying, yeah, okay, I got a first down. You made a good tackle. Let's play ball.
A new career high on the ground for Brown tonight, closing in on 100. Currently sits at 97. 4 receivers. Wide side right for Cornelius in a 1st and 10 situation. Has time. Looks down the field. Deep shot up for grabs, and it falls incomplete. Marshall in coverage, working against Mitchell, and Mitchell got him earlier tonight, but Marshall would have none of it here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, great play by Nick Marshall, but he's got to be careful. He loves press coverage. You'll get up on there, and now he's just in chase. Looked like Dylan Mitchell had a step on him, but he closes, but he had to be careful after the play, because you don't want to get a taunting call right about here. It was very close. He looked at the official and then said, okay. We've seen Ed Gainey with a big play defensively in the end zone, and now Nick Marshall took a turn.
Great play on that ball by Marshall. 2nd and 10 now. Cornelius out of the pocket, escapes on the run to his right, looking down the field. Now he's going to try to turn it back up, stays in bounds, and takes it down inside the 40 for a quick slide. How did he do that?
Well, Darnell Sankey thought he was going to step out of bounds when he saw him coming, and that was not on the mind of Taylor Cornelius. Sankey flew over there and was on a collision course with 15, and it looks to me like Sankey thought, well, he's just going to step out of bounds now, and he cut back on him. You know, and again, like, quarterbacks are going to try and protect themselves by getting out of bounds or hook sliding, but I guarantee you that was a mental note by Darnell Sankey. Next time, don't think he's going to go out of bounds, just go right through it.
This time they'll give it to Brown, wrapped up and taken down heavily on the play. AC Leonard tracked him down that time, stopped him to just 4 yards.
Yeah, made the tackle. Now he needs a break because Brown is tough. He's tough to bring down, and he's going to take a rest and put Charleston Hughes back out there on this 2nd and medium.
Was enough to give Brown his first career 100-yard rushing game in just his 3rd game with the organization. 2nd and 6, empty backfield for Cornelius. And that ball behind the intended target, Jalen Marshall. And that will bring up 3rd down and a field goal try for Castile.
It's a big one, though. 3 points here makes it a 2-possession game.
Castile hit an upright in the first half.
Yeah, just before half.
A chance for redemption here. 43-yarder from the right hash for Castile. And he knocks that one through.
Well, let's take a look. A nice kick right down the middle, and Castile, let's see that flat foot. Flat foot. Oh, he had that over to the left post, too. It was drifted left when he made it.
Friday Night Football continues from Mosaic in Regina. Thank you very much for spending your Friday evening with us. You're probably just here for the trivia. Here's the answer. Who had the first INT return in Friday Night Football history?
Oh, little pitch.
A little razzle-dazzle on the lateral. And Joseph takes it the rest of the way.
Joseph.
75 yards. There'll be another one later in the game. Cavis Reed had a pick six a little bit later on.
I remember Dale Joseph.
Fajardo gets the ball here. 11 and 40 minutes on the clock. Dumps it off to Hickson, who once again is wrapped up immediately. Combination on the play of Matthew Thomas and Avery Ellis.
Yeah, the execution of this offensively just gave Edmonton a chance to just smother it, because Fajardo is dropping back with Hickson. So it's usually you see that quarterback, he's dropped back. Hickson is wide and outflanking any pass rush. They were about 3-4 yards apart. Jason Moss is beside himself, angry with the separation there. There just wasn't enough of it.
After a loss of 4, the Riders have just 6 net yards of offense in the second half of this football game. Fajardo needs to get going. Dumps it off, but that is stopped into the hands of LaFrance. And that'll bring up third down and brings up a bevy of boos here in Mosaic.
Yeah, it's been building. It has been building on this offense here in Saskatchewan and Mosaic. It's a good crowd, but they're getting impatient. Not happy with the lack of offensive production.
Greg Dickinson said earlier in the week that they've tried to build an offense that fits Cody Fajardo. I don't know if anything's really clicking so far tonight. Big kick. They take it just inside the 15. 54-yard kick. Here's Salisbury. Nice return. Takes it all the way outside the 40. And Edmonton is getting the ball back with a 9-point lead and 10 on the clock. Brown over 100 yards on the game for more. Let's send it down to Britt Dorp.
Yeah, talk about a guy that's been turning heads just 3 games into his CFL career. This is somebody who we had to ask, what did you know about the CFL? Because you're new to this league. Down south, he said, other than the fact that I knew the receivers get a little bit of a head start, that's all I knew. He said he even had buddies messaging him as he was heading up north here, telling him, hey, you know the field's a little bit bigger and a little bit wider in this game, and the goalpost is at the front of the end zone, not the back. And all he could say was, now that's a head scratcher. But he said so far, this has been a dream, getting paid to play football, the game he loves. What more could you ask for? He said he spent the night since he got here, staying up till 1 a.m., just trying to learn the playbook. And I would say the studying is paying off, guys.
Yeah, just a little bit. Hey, it's been excellent so far. Well said.
Yeah, and I would say it was funny. It was a funny moment on the Zoom when he called it a. He goes, you know, when it was a waddle.
The waddle.
You know the waddle or the wiggle, the waddle. You know, it's like the waggle. He knew what it was. He just was trying to find the what we call it.
He's a player, though.
Oh, no question. Absolutely. Well, they're finding some pieces. The Elks are finding some pieces.
Cornelius in trouble. Not going to get away this time. Taken down by De Beer, his second sack of the season. In this one, the biggest play of the night for the Riders.
I thought that was 39 for a second. There he is right here. But it was a Charleston Hughes rotation play, and he went up wide, got a little chip, and he didn't get there. De Beer did.
3rd and 20. 8.5 to play. Forced to kick it away to Mario Alford. Waiting and watching. This kick will come down to him just inside the 40. Takes it cleanly. Nowhere to go this time, though. Forced out of bounds as they have managed to contain Mario Alford so far tonight. Cornelius has his team on top. Taken down here. MLS on TSN continues tomorrow with back-to-back Canadian matchup. TFC kicks off the evening with a battle against Orlando, followed by Caps versus Seattle matchup. Teams hit the pitch, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on TSN. Oh, Kermit the Fan is back in the house, and he's dressed up tonight. Putting on the fancy clothes on a Friday, I see. Well, not easy being green so far tonight.
That's how you did there.
14 points. I've been waiting for that one. Here's Fajardo now. Got to get this offense moving. And he's got a completion just shy of a first down. First time tonight we mentioned the name Tevin Jones.
And was that a sarcastic cheer almost from the fan base here for a completion? A yard and a half away from a new set.
They'll hand it off, and that'll be enough for the first down. It's Schaefer Baker out of the backfield with the pickup.
I think Niles Morgan has made a big difference in the middle of this defense. I'm sure all the numbers for him. I think that was his 6th tackle of the night. Got a piece of Schaefer Baker there.
Oh, Fajardo to his right. Has a completion. It'll be just shy of another first down as the Riders start to put together a little bit of a drive here in the fourth quarter. This is the best their offense has looked in the second half.
It has, and it was a fake to Schaefer Baker. He had to pay the price and make a block because the fake was coming to him. He's right here, and watch the hit to the left of Cody Fajardo, who fakes it and then pow, gets smacked by Morgan.
They'll get it to Hickson, tracked down from behind. Looks like it'll be awfully close to being enough for a Rider first down. Hickson, prior to that, was averaging a yard per carry tonight after coming into the game averaging over 7 in his last 3.
Jason Moss to the play sheet.
Hickson stands into the left of his quarterback, Cody Fajardo. 15 of 18 on the night. Fajardo, pressure coming from behind, takes off to his right, stays on his feet, cuts it inside. Now trying to jump ahead for a first down. He'll be stopped short of it, but some extra effort from Cody Fajardo going a long way there.
Yeah, he's trying to will it to happen now because he's as frustrated as the fans have been to try and get this offense rolling. They finally got a couple of touchdowns, and he grinded this one out. Trying to get to that marker, and the ball pops out of his hands, but Saskatchewan will maintain possession. That was Niles Morgan that's down.
Talked to a few people around the organization who view him as possibly their best defensive player. They really missed him when he was out. Was the most outstanding rookie for the organization last year, and kind of comes back in and solidifies that linebacking group between McConta, who's having a really good second half in his rookie year, and Konar, who's made a couple of big plays so far tonight.
Well, Trey Watson, Adam Konar played in the middle for a while. Nate Evans, I mean, this is Niles. It's Niles Morgan's spot, and they've gone through 4 guys trying to figure out how to replace him when he was injured. He's made a difference tonight. Best performance of the year for the Elks defense.
One of the few guys who was on the roster last year and is back on the roster again this year. And that's because they really like him. They miss him right here. He's going to hit the bike, and watch as Cody Fajardo in his shotgun, 2nd and 2. He'll give it to Hickson. Puts his shoulder down. He's got the first down just enough. A little bit of extra effort for good measure to take it just inside the 30.
Little block out there by Tuck. James Tuck, the fullback, getting a chance to make an impact. Lead the way for what is the 3rd first down of this drive. They had 13 net yards in the second half before this drive started. So more yards on this drive alone than the entire rest of the second half. 35 yards so far on this drive.
Trailing by 9 with just over 5 to play. Looking to get back to 500 on the season and back to 500 at home this year as well. Fajardo in trouble. Serezna is there, and he'll take him down again. Sack number 7 for the Edmonton defense, and a second one for Jake Serezna.
Well, you're down 2 possessions. There's still lots of time because you're not at 3 minutes yet. So, you know, this sack changes the strategy in that now Cody Fajardo tries to get as much as he can back to set up a field goal attempt. But this has got to be frustrating that he's been sacked 7 times, which makes 58 on the year.
Second and long. They'll get it to LaFrance. LaFrance eventually tracked down quite a ways from where they needed to be.
Yeah, that's the strategy. So when you take the sack there, now there's no opportunity really to, unless you make a miraculous go route, big play down the field. But the strategy changes to get what you can to make it a makeable field goal. I don't want to jinx anybody, but a manageable field goal attempt because you're down 2 possessions anyway.
Lowther has missed twice already tonight. This one 35 from the left hash, and he sneaks that one home. And we've got a 6-point game on our hands at Mosaic. CFL on TSN continues tomorrow with doubleheader action. Gotta love that. First on tap, Bombers take on the Ticats, followed by the Lions and the Calgary Stampeders. Action gets underway at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, only on TSN. First of 2 in a row for the Lions and Stampeders.
And that Hall of Fame game in Hamilton, and former Edmonton Eskimo Ricky Ray honored as he takes a look at his bust.
I'll say that looks good compared to a lot of the horrendous busts you'll see out there.
Congratulations to all the inductees this year. Great group. Chip Cox, former Montreal Alouette, Paul McCallum, the great kicker. He had his plant foot in the right place.
They'll give it to Brown again. Solid push on first down for Kevin Brown. As he pushes it up towards 110 yards on the night. There's that number 15. It's not a Cornelius decal to celebrate the 2-year deal. It's for Ricky Ray heading to the Hall.
Over 40,000. 210 touchdowns.
I always viewed it that he basically had 2 Hall of Fame careers. One in Edmonton and once he went to Toronto.
Yeah,
really.
And that 100th Grey Cup in Toronto, that win, outstanding. Full Skydome. 2nd and
4, Cornelius over the middle. That one, Jarrell Walker had to go down. Looked like it might have been there for the taking, and that'll bring up 3rd down as we move inside 3 minutes. Jarrell Walker, 2nd time in a half, probably wants that one back. Time now for the Advil dual action play of the game.
Well, Taylor Cornelius has 8 carries for 93 yards. This was over a 50-yarder early, and it really started things in the right direction for the Edmonton Elks. I mean, they from there went and scored 17 unanswered points. It's the reason that they have the lead right now by 1 possession, hanging on to that lead, but it was that big run that got it started.
Career high for Cornelius on the ground today. 93 yards on the 8 attempts. Riders about to get this ball back with 2.5 minutes to play. Kick is low, driven hard. Alford hustling over there, picks it up just inside his own 20. Mario Alford wrapped up, held onto and taken down just outside the 30. Well, here it is. You're down 6. You're Cody Fajardo looking to lead this team to a much-needed victory. 2-6 in their last 8. The stage is set, Glenn.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what you want. This is what you ask for. You want the ball to come in your zone. If you're playing defense in these situations, you're saying, throw it in my zone, because you want to be a difference maker. If you're quarterback in this situation, you want the ball with enough time on the clock to drive the field and win the football game. That's exactly what Cody Fajardo has right now.
Just 3 incompletions tonight for Fajardo, but 151 yards and a single touchdown. Probably not enough for many Riders fans watching. They'll start off with a dump to Hickson. Hickson takes it just outside the 35 and no further, but a 2nd and manageable coming up here with just over 2 minutes to go.
Frankie Hickson, this play, some probably wondering, you know, this is sort of just dumping it off, but watch the separation between these 2 levels. The first level with 3-man pressure, the linebackers drop out, and that little space in there is why they want to dump it to Frankie Hickson.
3-man front again for this Edmonton defense, and that's all they'll say. Fajardo out to his right, has to run back a little bit, dumps it off. He's got a completion for a 1st down on the far side of the field to Justin McInnes, who was targeted 3 times early in this game and been quiet ever since.
3 receivers to that side of the field. That's the wide side, and Justin McInnes just going to sit down, and then he has to react, find an open area when Cody Fajardo gets on the run. Scramble drills.
Riders working their way up to their own 52. 3 left, 3 right for Fajardo. Looks to the left. Tevin Jones will come back and get him. Jones is going to take off on the near side. He stays on his feet. Tevin Jones down inside the 30 and a huge play at just the right time for Tevin Jones.
Big wide base as he ran this hit screen. Gets the hit screen, gets it in his hands. He doesn't come too far inside. He plants that right foot in the ground, just heads right down the numbers, breaks some tackles. Usually these guys go way too far down inside and get into linebacker zones. This is now just against DBs in a big game.
Hunter had a crack at him, missed. 31 yards for Jones and the Riders in business. 1:52 on the clock. Lennius, McInnes will slide over by their quarterback. Fajardo waits. Now down the field. Kyron Moore's got it, and he's inside the 10. Moore, his third catch of the game, by far his biggest, and the Riders aren't wasting any time.
Yeah, Cody Fajardo had to lift the ball here. A little bit of wobble on it, but he got it to where he wanted to get it. There was a linebacker underneath this throw. It was Konar. He had to lift it over Konar and drop it into Kyron Moore.
Fajardo, 19 of 22 for 223 yards. He's been sacked 7 times, but trying to tie this game at 23. First and goal from the 7 for Fajardo. Pressure at the middle. Stays on his feet. What a fake. Now he's on the run to his left. Fajardo throws it up. Almost picked off, but it falls incomplete. Ed Gainey was lurking, wasn't he?
Wow, lots going on there. I mean, first of all, Cody Fajardo almost sacked twice. I mean, Ely was in the backfield. He had a crack at him there. There's that blind turn we see all the time where he spins out of trouble. Konar trying to track him down, and then almost intercepted by Gainey. Now, he would have been out of bounds anyway. I think that's what Fajardo was trying to do, just throw it away.
They'll try it again. Second and goal from the 7. 3 to the left for Fajardo. Looks that way first. Now he's on the run again. Out to his right. Pressure coming. Gets it in there. Almost intercepted. That was close. He was looking for more, and it falls incomplete. Third and goal.
Well, here we go. I mean, it was, again, Kyron Moore who finds a little hole. Deron Carter scrambling to get there. There's the hole, but watch Hunter coming. Well, right between the numbers, and he drops it.
That would have sealed it away for sure. Riders simply got to have it here. Third and goal, down 6, just over a minute to play. 3-man pressure again from Edmonton. Fajardo to the end zone! Touchdown! He finds him. Welcome back, Lenius! His first of the season could not have come at a better time. And we're deadlocked at 23 in Mosaic. Seven plays, 79 yards in a minute and 15 seconds after struggling to move the ball the entire second half. Lothar, the extra points, and he tucks it home.
Made that interesting, didn't he?
It was close.
Well, hey, this is game 3 back for Braden Lenius, and Braden Lenius is going to line up as a tight end. This is where he went down south to try out as a tight end, and he's going to step up and then find the hole. Just a great reaction to see, like a zone look. He runs right into Niles Morgan, and then he slides right into the middle where that empty space is and has to go and catch it behind him, make a really tough catch because Cody Fajardo was throwing it away from coverage, and coach sees the throw and catch, and they'll take the extra point attempt to take the 1-point lead.
The last time Edmonton won in Regina, October 24th, 2015. And they have controlled a good chunk of this football game, but now they find themselves down by 1.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Come on, man. Is it on? Oh, shout out to my mom, the Fresco company, and my lady back home. Miss you.
Gonna say hi to Shauna, his mom. Now there's some time on the clock and work to do if Saskatchewan wants to walk away from this with this win.
Jalen Marshall on the return. Takes it outside the 30. And now the stage is set for Taylor Cornelius with 63 seconds on the clock. Over 2,500 days since they last had a win here. Have an opportunity to get one. It's been an interesting night for the kickers, and I have a feeling we might not be done there just yet. Cornelius, 199 yards through the air, another 93 on the ground. Needs to get a pretty good chunk to get them within field goal range for Castile. Cornelius over the middle, he's got Darrell Walker and he hangs onto this one, takes it just outside the 50, and some redemption for 87.
Hey, it's not done yet. There is still plenty of time. I mean, there's time for 4 or 5 plays yet. And that's right. 3 very similar patterns from Darrell Walker. He dropped 2, got the most important one though, and that's given him a chance.
Castile's career long is 57.
This year, 52. Missed one off the upright tonight.
I can't imagine being a kicker pacing that sideline thinking, oh no, it's going to come down to my leg. I guess that's what you want as a kicker. But me being, a coward overall in general, I'm very nervous if I'm pacing that sideline.
Yeah, it's pressure unlike any other player will go through. Mike Edom is limping off. I would say comfortable for Castile. They need 2 more first downs or about 20 yards.
Clock ticks. Crowd here at Mosaic coming to their feet for Friday Night Football finish. Flags on the play as Cornelius lets one fly. They've got a completion, but there were flags on both sides of the field as he got it to Darrell Walker again.
Well, this is a big,
huge call.
That's a first down. Looks like they're marking it.
Yeah.
And it would have been, that would mean...
Offside, Saskatchewan, number 45. Penalties declined. The result of the play is a first down.
Pete Robertson, penalty declined anyway after the first down, and now they are inside 50.
Yeah, he lines up offside, so he's in the neutral zone right there at the bottom of your screen. Declined, 10 yards away from field goal range.
Cornelius, 1st and 10 on the run to his right. Has to throw it away, avoid the sack.
Great decision. Cannot take a sack there. Absolutely cannot take a sack if you're Taylor Cornelius. A good decision, still time. He can flare this out too. He doesn't have to throw it deep down into danger zones down the field. He can just flare it out to his back. He picks up 8, 9, and you're in field goal range for a longer attempt.
Much more comfortable attempt with another 7 or 8 yards.
That's where Kevin Brown comes in.
And that is Brown standing to the right of Cornelius. Cornelius with pressure coming, gets it away just in time, and he's got a completion on the near side of the field. Goes back to Darrell Walker, and the veteran receiver hauls it in just outside the Rider 40.
What a great catch by Darrell Walker. That was right outside at the sideline. Good speed cut here. Covers by Milligan, Roland Milligan, and look at that catch by Darrell Walker. Remember, he messed up his hand early in the game, has been gutting it out. Couple of big catches on this final drive. And they're going to line up right now because if they have an issue, they can set it up again.
Another 100-yard gain for Darrell Walker sets up this. Sergio Castile from 47 yards on the right hash. Looking to give his team the lead late on the road at Mosaic. Snap is good, ball is down, kick is up, and he got it for the lead. Castile knocks it home from 48, and the Elks go on top 26-24.
Well, that's what you do when you handle the pressure. You mentioned the pressure. Castile walking up and down that sideline, thinking about this kick, having missed one that hit the upright earlier in the game. I guarantee you that was weighing heavy on him right there. He steps into it, kicks a low driving field goal inside the left upright. Coach Jones looks along, and You got it, Coach.
No emotion. A little bit from Castillo there as he points upwards.
Well, no emotion. You know why? Because there's 24 seconds left on the clock. So coaches are always going to wait till that final whistle before any celebrating happens. And now
you avoid Alford at all costs.
Yes.
Don't you?
Well, now the squib kick comes into play. You know, this is where you kick it along the ground because it takes a little bit more time off the clock to recover it. And it usually goes to that middle line, which is often receivers. They're trying to get Mario Alford the football, no question. But I don't think there's any chance that the Elks kick it to number 2.
6 return TDs in his first 23 games, tying Gizmo Williams for the quickest to 6. Certainly a threat. We'll see what Castillo does here. And they are going to boot it. Wow. Deep. Hickson has to go back, grabs it inside the 5. Clock ticks down to 20. Hickson works his way up the middle, stays on his feet all the way out to the 30. And the clock stops at 17 seconds for Cody Fajardo.
Yeah, 2, maybe 3 plays, but you got to go down the field now. So can be efficient, but this is where, you know, maybe one of your Schaefer Bakers at 6'4" wins a jump ball. Braden Lenius at 6'5". 57 is career long for Brett Lawther.
So a long way to go for Fajardo. Not much time to work here to keep their hopes alive. 3-man pressure again, and they almost get to him. Now they do it. He's taken down. Maybe the most fitting finish to this night as Ely gets home, and it's the 8th time that Fajardo's been sacked this evening.
Timeout, Saskatchewan.
That's just too easy.
Well, you know, and it's good patience by Avery Ellis too. Ely gets there, but Ellis was anticipating that blind turn.
Tony Ely went straight through 2 members of that Riders offensive line. And now with 11 seconds on the clock, it's 2nd and 19 for Fajardo. Near side, almost picked off, falls incomplete. It was Gainey getting hands on it again with 6 seconds left, and it comes down to this.
Yeah, now it's just the jump ball. You throw it as deep as you can, and Cody Fajardo and Saskatchewan hoping for a penalty. For the Elks, they're going to have their defensive backfield 20, 30 yards off the line of scrimmage. And the idea here is don't take a penalty.
Got to give him at least a little bit of time. 3rd and 19. Fajardo. Nowhere to go. Wants to load one up. Finally he will. Down the field. Schaefer Baker is there, and it falls incomplete. And that is going to do it. For the first time in over 2,500 days, Edmonton has come to Regina and picked up a victory. And for the first time this season, they've beaten a West opponent, and they keep their slim playoff hopes alive.
And there you go, the final whistle blown. A struggling Edmonton Elks team has got a little more consistency in their lineup over the last 3 games, and it's starting to pay off. Their quarterback got a brand new contract, and there is a little emotion and reaction from head coach Chris Jones.
The Riders fall to 6 and 8 on the season, 3 and 5 at home, which will not go over well here in Saskatchewan. The final tonight, 26-24. Taylor Cornelius leading a game-winning drive, capped off by the foot of Sergio Castillo. And Edmonton finally beats a team in the division for the first time this season. Doubleheader coming your way tomorrow. An excellent finish to Friday Night Football. Let's send it to Sports Center with Jermaine and Mark.